In a world where we have everything and it's still not enough, we're often left wondering, is this really it?
Deep inside, you know there's more to life. You're ready to leave behind the old push your way through and claim the deeper, more meaningful life that's calling you.
That's what we invite you to explore with us.
We're your hosts,
Stephanie Allen
and Maren Oslak. And this is the Soulful Leader Podcast.
Yay!
So I got a question for you. Have you ever had a relationship with someone that, you just believe that they're always going to be there for you? And then you go through a real hard time, and the people that you thought would be there for you maybe aren't. And surprisingly enough, some of the other people are there for you. I think this is a real common thing, and why I'm bringing this up is that trust and surrender are hand in hand. And it's a practice.
I love those words, and I want you to go more deeply into that, because in our society, surrender is so often considered a bad thing. Like when we surrender, that's the white flag, and it's somebody else. That means somebody else has won, right? Somebody else has gotten the better of us, so we need to surrender. So what do you mean by trust and surrender?
Yeah, so let's go deeper into surrender and trust. First of all, you cannot surrender unless you have trust. Now, there's a different levels of trust. You can have blind faith or blind trust and just, whatever will be, and away I go. Hope for the best, which is not really trust. Trust actually is an investment. If you have had a relationship with someone or something and it's been there for you, tried and true, it's much easier to trust and it's much easier to let go and surrender. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. Surrender actually is a humongous act of courage to totally know that when you fall, something or someone will catch you. But we don't tend to invest in building those relationships, whether it's with ourselves, whether it's another, or whether it's with something greater than ourselves. Would you not say that?
I would completely agree with you. And I really want to be transparent with our audience. Part of the reason that this conversation came up today was because I had seen a video with Pema Chödrön, who is the
Pema
first.
Chödrön, yeah.
Thank you, Pema Chödrön. She's the first female Buddhist monk from North America. And so I wanted to share that with everybody, and let's listen to it together. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you can actually watch it with us.
So I would say the way to find some kind of equanimity is to grow your capacity for the queasiness, the fear, the anxiety, the uncomfortableness that comes along with the times we're living in. So that comes along with the feeling of groundlessness, of not having anything to hold on to. So in other words, instead of trying to find something to hold on to, you become more and more comfortable, or more and more at home, more and more able to hold free fall. Let's call it that way, Like I used to think about Alice in Wonderland, how she just fell down that hole and she was falling and falling, and she was just not grabbing for anything or anything like that. And at one point in my life, she was like a role model to me because of the fact that she just fell and waited to see where she was going to land, So for all of us, I think we shy away from these feelings. And in the process of that, our ability to hold them, our ability to live from that place diminishes. And the way to become more comfortable, more at ease in a shifting, changing world, which has always been the case actually, is to make friends with the feelings that are evoked by nothing to hold on to.
So to me, that is surrender. That being, allowing ourselves to be in the free fall without needing to hold on or grasp or scream our head off like, bah! Someone help
Yeah.
me.
I see this all the time. Like, I like what she says about making it a practice of the uncertainty.
Yeah.
Like being still with the not knowing, not trying to figure it out, not trying to push through it. Just like that, my saying of like, don't just do something, just sit there. Just allow it to be present. Like, what if it wasn't yours to figure it out? What if it actually was moving through you? And I'll use an example of that. As many of us going through, change of seasons, we tend to end up with colds or flus. And, numerous of my clients are going through this month-long cough and cold, and they can't seem to get rid of it. And they blame themselves. I hear it again and again. Oh my gosh, I'm not taking care of myself. I need to eat better. I need to sleep more. I need to do all these different things. And
or that they got it from their kid, or my
yeah,
kids at school, or whatever, all the stories we tell ourselves about it.
right. And I said, what if you were present to the butterfly and the caterpillar, that whole metamorphosis? Because we tend to like hang on to a story around it versus looking at your immune system is changing. You perhaps have said yes to being in a new way of being in your life, which is because you haven't been there. It's uncertainty. You haven't been there. You have no idea what it's going to be like. And so internally, your immune system is fighting it because it's a new place. It doesn't know if it's going to be a good place, or is this healthy? Am I in danger? And the relationship with the butterfly and the caterpillar, of course, is that the caterpillar in the chrysalis is going bye-bye, see you later. And its immune system is trying to fight to stay alive. Yet there's the DNA in the agreement that it's meant to become into a butterfly, which is a completely different paradigm than living as a caterpillar. And that's, I believe, where most of us want to go when we say, I want to live the dream. I want to live my life. I want to live something better. You're going to have to let go of who you are now in order to become who you are aspiring to become. And that's going to mean a translation of going through the chrysalis, going through the not knowing, and
Going
the
through
Alice in
the
Wonder.
being
Yeah,
uncomfortable.
and having to let go of everything that is certain.
And the other thing you mentioned was the immune system. So our immune system, literally, its job is to look around and say, me, not me, kill it. Anything
Correct.
that's not me, it's going to try and kill it. And that's what you were talking about, the process of the caterpillar and the butterfly. One of the things, I don't know if you're familiar with, I know you are, Stephanie, and our audience members. So what happens to the caterpillar is it literally turns into caterpillar soup. And the immune system of the caterpillar literally tries to kill off the very cells that are trying to allow it to transform into a butterfly. So it is in that complete free fall. And when Pema Chödrön talks about the fact that she looked at Alice in Wonderland as a role model for herself, to be, I know before we came on, Steph and I were talking, we're like, oh my God, I'd be grabbing onto, like if that were me, I'd be
Oh,
grabbing
yeah.
onto the branch and screaming my
I
way
can see a
down.
part of me just like going, holy shit, I'm going to die, and reaching out for every freaking limb along the way, which is going to pull my arm out of its socket. And how
Right.
many times do we all do that? Like we try to hang on to the old way of thinking, the old way of being, old relationships, old things that no longer serve us, old habits. And yet those are the very things that are actually hurting us in
Yeah.
transforming into the new ideal that we want to live. Sometimes we do have to let go of a lot of the things in the outer world, which can feel really scary.
So I have a great question. How do you know when it's your immune system, the old you trying to hold on,
Mm-hmm.
or it's something literally trying to protect you that you need to protect you?
That is such a great question. Like, that is such a great question. It's like, and that takes a practice of, I'd say, first of all, I'd have to look at What is it that I say I want? Like when people, I'll talk to people and they'll say, oh, yeah, living the dream. And they're saying it sarcastically. And I'm like, well, what is your dream? What is it that you dream of? And sometimes people go, I don't know. I was just kind of saying that as a matter of speech. But I said, well, if you could drop in and really listen, what would your dream be? And so that's what I would say to myself. What is the dream that I really want to live into? Have I made space for that? Um, have I given myself the capacity to even entertain that idea?
Mm.
And when I go there, it gives me hope. It's the butterfly. Like this time of year is springtime. It's like, oh God, the crocuses are coming up, the flowers are coming up. It's like, wow, that gives me hope. Things are breaking through the long, dark, hard night, winter. That's the not knowing. Are things going to bloom? Are things going to blossom? Well, of course they will, because that's the cycles of life. So this too shall pass. That old saying of the dark night or the difficult challenge. Same is true with the good stuff too. This too shall pass. We will go through these cycles. And if we ride those cycles, we're going to be ups and downs and sideways. But if we can step back and give ourselves some capacity, some space to go, well, what is the dream that I'm moving towards? What is the life that I want to live into? That will actually give you guidance to be able to then attune and go, okay, is this moving me closer to that or further away? And so an example, say I want to, I want to be in better health. I want to work out more. I want to feel better in my clothes. I want to have more energy. I want to be able to get up off the floor without going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm going to have to let go of some things like, chocolate covered almonds. And I'm going to have to let go of, maybe I'm going to have to get up a little bit earlier in the morning and maybe go to the gym, or maybe I have to think differently.
I was
Like,
going to
there's all
say,
these
those are
things.
the outer things that you would need to let go of. Tell me some of the inner things, like the stories you tell yourself that
Well,
you'll have to let go of.
exactly. So those are the outer things. So the inner thing is I'm going to have to say it's possible. I have to let go of that I am hopeless, or I have to let go that
Mm.
I'm waiting again for an outer thing of someone to give me permission, or my health to give me permission to say, oh, great. Now I've got this disease that I have to go to the gym and I have to eat better. I don't want to have to do anything. I want to choose to. So I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to look inside myself and go, wait a minute, what is the internal dialogue that I'm saying that's pushing me, that's harsh? Because that's not going to help me any. That's actually going to create more inflammation and maybe
Right.
even a little bit of rebellion. Again,
Well,
like,
and I
screw you, I'm
think
doing that.
to bring that to kind of bridge that with what you were talking about before of the immune system, that's where your immune system for somebody who wants something, you say that you want
Mhm.
something, a new job, a new boyfriend, a new girlfriend, a new body, whatever, right? And springtime, right? We just set our goals and our New Year's resolutions, and we're kind of in that like, oh, is it possible? Can I even do it? And starting to get into the negative talk about it. And so
Right.
now
So,
you've got the immune system of the old
exactly.
you saying it's not possible, while you still are holding on to the dream of what is possible. And so, yeah, doesn't it make sense that our systems are kind of fighting and at odds with each other? And oh gosh, just got sick, right?
Right. So going back to that person who, my clients who are going through their snotty phase of transformation, part of some of the exercises that I offer to them and say, go inside and tell me what you're congested with. What thoughts are taking up space that are making you congested, that aren't giving you any room for you to breathe?
I
And
even love
name them. Name
the
those little
snot.
boogers.
Right. That's what I was going to say. I love when you said the snotty part of yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's the snotty part of yourself and what is it saying to you? What is it
Right.
saying
And
to
then
me?
give yourself some space between it. So write them down, look it out. You might just say, I don't have time. I'm too old. I'm too tired. It's too late. It's like all these different things that we
I
say to
haven't done
ourselves.
enough. I'm not good enough. And blah,
It'll
blah,
never
blah, blah, blah.
happen. I don't have the money. All those things that we write in, write them down and look at those little boogers, the little snot stuff. And this is where you need to make this is the space that has to happen of like, oh, okay, those are just thoughts. They're not me, but those thoughts will drive your physical body. They are the drivers. So learn to then inform those thoughts. So, and I'm not saying to just erase them out and put positive affirmations. Those help too. But to really look at what is that thought that says, I'm too old, I don't have enough time or money. What is that doing to you? What is that doing to your own immune system? You're having to fight against it, just like the caterpillar and the butterfly. You're having to fight against it instead of saying, well, wait a minute. I don't want to put my energy towards fighting against something. By the way, anytime you ever fight against something, it only gets stronger. So that
What you
caterpillar,
resist
right,
persists.
So that caterpillar fighting the immune system of the butterfly, it only makes the butterfly stronger. So I don't want to be making the belief system that I don't have time, that I don't have money, that I'm too old, or all those different things. I don't want to make that stronger. But I want to look at it and say, I am no longer going to give that energy. I'm no longer going to fight against it. It's there, but it doesn't have to be my reality.
So I love this because that's letting go of the shore or dropping into the Alice in Wonderland hole, and you don't yet know what it will get replaced with.
That's
It's
right.
holding that space open without grasping, without like screaming bloody murder, maybe.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the uncomfortability practice that Pema was actually talking about, and how powerful it is in our lives to, you can hear that when Stephanie is talking about it, of if I was able to let go of that shore of what I think that I know without having something to replace it yet, I am now living in the world of possibility. And when you think about Alice in Wonderland, that's where she lands, right? This world of possibility, of like craziness.
And she's curious on the way down, going, woo, okay, that's interesting. Oh, yeah. And she's seeing all these things that are part of her world that she's no longer grasping for. She's just watching them go by. She's just watching them go by. And what if we could do that with our thoughts, just watching them go by,
And
not grabbing onto them?
That is a Buddhist practice.
Yeah.
Of watching your thoughts go by, not grasping them, not identifying with them and saying, oh, that's me. That's me. And it's a powerful practice when you can let go of saying that's who I am and identifying yourself as your thoughts. And, you know, if you're listening and you're going, well, if I'm not my thoughts, who am I? I want you to take a moment right now and think about, I want you to watch your thoughts. Just kind of watch your thoughts. Watch that question that you just asked. Well, if I'm
or
not my
listen to them,
thoughts,
listen
or
to your thoughts,
listen to your
feel
thoughts,
them,
feel them.
whatever your mode is.
Yeah. And now ask yourself, who is the you that was watching or listening to or feeling those thoughts, that asked that question? Because it's not the same you that had the thoughts. So that means that you are not actually the thought, because you're the one who's asking the question about it. Right?
Yeah, you've made some space to actually be aware of those thoughts rather than have them run you.
And if it's not who you are, if it's not your identity, that means that there's other possibilities. And that's the power of of letting go of going down the rabbit hole with curiosity instead of with terror. And it is a practice. It won't happen overnight. Trust me.
Exactly.
When I heard this morning, part of the reason, like I said, that we're talking about it is because it had such an impact on me. And I thought, I've never considered Alice in Alice in Wonderland in the way that she fell down the hole as a role model until I heard Pema talking about it. And I thought, oh, I want that. I want that. That's going to be a practice that I embrace.
And, I want to say something about our society today. We want the quick fixes. We want to be able to have it now. And so there's no space to just be in the not knowing. So we're not very comfortable with it. And I truly believe that part of people, and this is my family history as well, is like what I've grown up in, is the addiction level of it, whether that's food, whether that's alcohol, whether that's drugs, whatever that addiction is, it gives us a sense of surrender falsely because it lets go of our mind. It gets us out of our mind. And I think there's a huge
Meaning that the addiction does.
the addiction does, or
Ah.
whether it's scrolling on social media, it distracts us enough from our thoughts. But the more we do that falsely from an addictive sort of place, the less we are able to consciously do it. And so what I mean by that is like when you practice is not easy. Being able to practice watching your thoughts go by, or practicing being in the unknown without eating or scrolling or doing drugs or doing alcohol. Like actually being uncomfortable is actually the practice. Why do that? Because you'll be able to do it better. And without side effects that are negative, you have side effects of actually being able to claim possibility and choice and freedom. And you can access it at any time, any place, rather than having to rely on something outside of you to be able to get that
Sure.
fix,
So that like when you're at work and something triggers you, you don't need
Yeah.
to go away and scroll or go get a drink or complain to your coworker
Go on vacation.
because you've actually invested time in building a skill set that allows you to be uncomfortable of like, and that's one of the places that I'm at right now of I notice that I'm uncomfortable. I am not always able to in that moment shift myself. I am now able to say, oh, I'm uncomfortable because I want to reach for something to self-soothe, quote unquote, right? Like I want to reach for the little game on my phone, or I want to reach for that piece of chocolate, or I want to reach for the phone and complain about somebody. And I have started the practice of, I've actually been doing it for quite a while, of like, okay, I see you, think about little booger, right? I see you, little booger. And I'm just going to be present to it, not make it right or wrong or good or bad. And
Stay curious.
yeah. And most of the time now it dissipates and it's like, oh, okay. And then I could be in choice about who I want to talk to and what I want to talk to them about instead of being driven by that.
Yeah. Instead of either running away from it, hiding from it, being in rebellion and reaction, you can actually stay centered in your heart, in that place where then you can be in choice and you can make a choice that you can be at peace with, rather than have the ramifications of the shoulda, coulda, woulda, ought tos of shaming yourself.
Yeah.
And I like I said, we did a podcast earlier a while back on pick your heart,
Yeah.
like it's hard. It's freaking hard not to like rush in there and fix something, or that's conditioning. But if you can sit in the not knowing, if you can be the Alice in Wonderland and fall into a new reality, that's what she's doing. And to trust that unknown, that is the practice.
And, you said it's hard to do this practice. That's true. It's also hard to be sick.
Right.
And it's hard to be in a horrible relationship, and it's hard to be stuck in a bad job. And like, that's what we mean by pick your hard, because you can choose to make your hard the practice of becoming more aware or to live in the hard.
So
of
sometimes
life.
what I will do in those situations, like you said, it's hard to be in a bad job. It's hard to be in bad relationships. It's hard to be sick. To just sit there and perhaps ask yourself a question, because we tend to want to go away when we're just sitting there too. It's like, oh, I'll just ignore it. It'll go away. I'm not saying that. I would say ask yourself a question. Like, what might this be guiding me to? What is this asking of me? And to listening, that's the space, not reacting, but listening. Of like, it may be saying, just sit there, just rest. This too shall pass.
Mm.
But it's like having the awareness to actually be present to it.
We're such a culture that celebrates action all the time,
Mm-hmm.
that will be challenging to sit and listen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't think of it, and being present is actually an action.
It is. And listening inwardly is an action.
It is.
So one of my teachers would say, be still and let that movement move inward.
Mm.
So instead of outward movement and action outward, let it go inward and feel how it's like this is somatics. Track where that energy is going in your body. You might feel it in your heart. You might feel it in your knees, your low back. And you're, again, not fixing it. You are just tracking it. You're observing that movement inwardly. And maybe it lands in your lower back. And so that you are present to your lower back. Again, not to fix it, but to stay curious with it and ask it a question. You might ask it, okay, back, I feel you. You're hurting. What are you asking of me?
Right.
What are you needing from me? Not from the world, not out here, because you can't change that. You know, but what are you asking of me that I can give to you right now?
I love
And
that.
that's the internal movement.
So regularly throughout the year, we offer something called Inner Mastery. And if this type of stuff is speaking to you, that might be something you're interested in. So you can check our website for that. Just because I get so excited about this stuff, and I know Stephanie does too, and you can hear it in our voices. That's if you're somebody who also gets excited by it, we would love to hear from you. We would love to get your feedback and have you be a part of our world and have more of these conversations. So please do connect with us. You can find us on Facebook and on LinkedIn. And then also, if you're interested in the clip that I played from Pema Chödrön, I will link that in our show notes. It's a YouTube video from Sounds True. I'll also link the episode, the Pick Your Heart episode that we had done. So I love this conversation. I hope to have more of them with you guys. Anything left? Anything last minute with from you?
I just always say, you know, I bring it back to stress. That 88% of it, and this is by the American Medical Association, 88% of disease is stress related, meaning it's what's going on in our heart and in our mind.
Yeah.
And so when you think of a physical manifestation of an illness or a disease, and I don't just mean like a physical ailment, it can be like, you know, something's not working for you in your life. You're not accessing your dreams. That's also a physical ailment. 88% of it, and probably even more than that, is mostly internalized.
Yeah.
And if we don't address that, it is going to be hard in the outer world. So pick your heart, you know, go inside, work with that 88%. It'll be amazing how things change in your outer world, how things show up differently to you, and how you see things differently, feel things differently. It's worth it.
It really is. So contact us. Let us know where you are with this. And if you enjoyed this, kind of talking about somebody else's thoughts and the Alice in Wonderland metaphor. And we'll see you in a couple weeks on the Soulful Leader podcast.
And that wraps up another episode of the Soulful Leader podcast with your hosts, Stephanie Allen
and Maren Oslack. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to dive deeper, head over to our website at thesoulfulleaderpodcast.com.
Until next time.